Hi everyone, we are here at AWS reInvent and look who I have with me, Arvind Jain, a CEO and co-founder at Glean. Not a new face to the Ravit show. Super excited to chat with you, Arvind, today.
Likewise.
Awesome. Arvind, let's start with obviously enterprises, which is one thing which we talk to a lot as well, and I know Glean kind of helps enterprises get from pilot to obviously production. Tell us a little bit about what actually moves uh, the experiments to the real
Yeah.
thing for the enterprises. How can they kind of get out of that pilot stage? Any
Yeah.
thoughts?
Yeah. Well, I mean, when an enterprise does a pilot, their goal always is to, of course, take that work and move it to production. Um, so, like, there's nothing like really special about that, in the sense that that's the basic expectation. But with AI, things became a little bit different because there was so much excitement for the technology
True.
that you ended up having a lot of these products which are not ready, but enterprises started to test them out, and then they never really made the cut to go into production. But for us, we are a company that got started before this AI craze. We started in
Right.
early 2019,
Yes.
and that actually makes us the first generative AI company in the enterprise. And so when we work with our customers now, we are bringing a product that is mature, that is being around for 6 years.
Right.
Um, and and also we have very clear use cases for what we are actually building this technology for. And those use cases are the most important one for enterprises.
Right.
Imagine if you think about AI, what is the one thing that everybody thinks about when they think about AI? It's Chat GPT,
Right,
right?
right.
And now businesses, when they want that same power of Chat GPT, but inside their company. And so Glean is actually built for that, and it's a mature product. So
Right.
so for us, it's been actually easy. We either we are we never get a chance to work with an enterprise, but if we get a chance to work with them, we are never stuck in the POC phase. We do go in production across an entire employee base.
I love it. I love those insights.
Yeah.
I've also heard you talking about, context is the
Yeah.
missing piece
Yeah.
when it comes to enterprises, and
Yeah.
context is definitely the king, is what I
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious to learn from you in simple terms. What
Yeah.
does that mean in practice,
Yeah.
and why does it matter?
Yeah. Well, I mean, all this AI innovation that's happening in the industry, it's sort of happening outside of your company. The models, when you think about GPT or
Right.
Gemini, they're amazing. They have great reasoning capabilities, but they have zero knowledge of how your business works,
Exactly.
right?
Very true.
So now, to actually make use of this technology internally, you have to somehow connect, your business, how it works, and how work gets done inside your company by people.
like
All of
internal things.
internal things that
Right.
have to be somehow connected with these models. Imagine your day-to-day questions, as a manager, for example, you want
Right.
to learn, is this project that we're working on, will it deliver on time? What are the key risks on this project?
Very important.
Or I have I'm an employee, I'm looking for help, and I need to connect with a subject matter expert. So I need to actually ask a question, who's an expert on this topic? Now
Right.
imagine can any one of those questions be answered by a AI model? Of course not, because they don't know all of that information. So
So true.
so that's what I mean by context, that you have to basically understand an enterprise. And when I mean understand an enterprise, you have to understand what is your business?
Very
Who are the people inside the company? What work do they do? What are the key priorities for this year for the company? What are the new products you're going to be building? Who
Wow.
are the leaders on those projects? Where are they tracking? Where that work happens? This is what this is what the business is,
Right.
and you have to build that deep understanding of it. So that's what Glean does. And now
Nice,
our goal
nice.
is very simple. Whenever somebody wants to do a task or get an answer to a question, ultimately it's an AI model that's built by OpenAI or Google or Anthropic or one of the open source models.
Right.
Those models are going to answer that question. What we have to do is bring the relevant information inside the company into that question, into
Yes.
that context,
Context.
so that
Right.
so that the model can do the right sort of work on that information.
I love it. I love how you've kind of explained context and why it is important. It is not limited to just going out and asking questions, but you need to understand the enterprise, the culture, but not only just that, but also the business and the goals that these employees internally kind of have, because that will only be able to give the right solution or the right direction to these enterprise leaders as well, and they'll feel confident about that. Okay, I should be using this AI to make decisions as well. This will give them more confidence to get into different directions.
Absolutely, yeah.
Talking about, obviously enterprises, I know you all work with a lot of CIOs, CTOs in this space. What are you hearing from them when it comes to adoption? Because that plays a very important role as well. Sometimes the CIOs, CTOs are not very confident, but when they kind of understand the game plan and how they can use AI, that will give them the speed and the productivity. But at the same time, also give them the cost would go down for them in terms of the expenses, and they can be more productive. Tell us a little bit about what they are most excited about, the CIOs, the CDOs, and what would be the best way for them to adopt something like Glean.
Look, last year the priority for the CIO was get some AI experiments going. We want to learn, we want to see what this is about. This year, the narrative is that AI wastes money, nothing, like no projects go to production, right? And so you have to, CIOs now are basically very, very particular about, yes, we're going to deploy AI solutions, but I want to see impact. Right?
True.
And so from that perspective, the Glean is, Glean does a good job because number one, it's a very intuitive tool, and it's a better version of, more powerful version of, any AI assistant that you can see in the enterprise.
Yes.
And so people sort of naturally like it, use it. We get good usage, and so CIOs love it. But they're actually not fully satisfied with Glean Assistant, because Glean Assistant is a general purpose productivity tool for employees.
Okay.
They also there's a lot of interest in agents, because agents are more directly related to some big cost item, for example, in the business. For example, you are trying to automate ticket resolution. You already know that each ticket costs you $50 to resolve.
Right.
And overall, it's hundreds of millions of dollars in expense maybe.
Yes.
Right? And so you want to sort of go see these agents in action that are able to move real business metrics.
Yes.
And so that's what we're seeing. So we are also getting pushed a lot. And so for our agents that people build on Glean, we actually share very accurate metrics on how it is actually fundamentally improving your business. And those are not our metrics. Those are metrics that the business already had. Right? And so you see movement on those metrics. But this has become a very important thing for CIOs, CDOs now, is seeing that immediate impact using AI.
No, I love it. I love how you've kind of, obviously mentioned about the CIOs and CTOs kind of, obviously observing, monitoring the results and the ROI that they are kind of getting through agents as well, which is very important in today's world where, like you said, most of the time now we are kind of, obviously seeing reports from MIT as well, where 95% of the projects fail. But there are a few which will obviously succeed. Those 5% are very important, and this is how, the decision makers kind of feel confident about AI as well.
That's right.
So that's pretty cool, Arvind. I'm kind of also wanting to, since we are here at AWS reInvent, I know AWS and Glean has a great partnership, very deep into it. Can you tell us a little bit about how does this unlock, reliability, security, or scale? What is an easy, low-risk way to, start AWS plus Glean together?
Well, I mean, look, you saw in the keynote today, us being mentioned as one of the key partners.
Yes, 60 competency partners. Glean was one of those. Yes.
And I mean, we have a very strong partnership with AWS.
Right.
The product, when it's running in AWS, of course, it uses all the core AWS technologies.
Totally.
All of it, every single line of code ultimately is running on AWS infrastructure.
Yes.
We heavily use Bedrock. We are integrating with Agent Core. Most of the technologies that you saw today, we've already been behind the scenes working with AWS on integrating Glean technology with AWS technology.
Yes.
And the ultimately customers choose for us like where they want to run their AI workloads, and many of them choose AWS
Right.
as a cloud partner of choice. So
Okay.
then we bring Glean to them in AWS, and we make use of all the advanced features around enterprise maturity, security that AWS and Bedrock provides to us by default.
Okay, nice.
As an
Nice.
example, with Bedrock, an enterprise gets guarantees that none of their data will ever be used to train models like outside of their own environment, right?
Yes,
So
right.
these are strong guarantees that we're able to provide to our customers. Then by virtue of actually utilizing those capabilities from AWS. So overall, it's a great win-win partnership for us.
Yeah.
And of course, when you think about Glean running, it's a infrastructure heavy product. We require a lot of compute cycles.
Love it, yeah.
Not just to do searches, but to run AI inferences.
Yes,
So it
100%.
drives a lot of revenue to them, and that creates this mutually beneficial partnership for us.
And I feel like the customers who have been, obviously using AWS plus Glean, it just becomes easier for them to have both of them used in one place and embedded with each other.
Absolutely,
So-
yeah. It's less management,
Right.
headache for them.
Yes, exactly. That's great. I've been obviously chatting with the marketplace team, so I've been kind of getting insights around the partnership that Glean and
Yeah.
AWS has. It's phenomenal. One more question around 2026 is just around the corner. So I'm kind of, obviously wanting to get one concrete prediction from you about 2026
Yeah.
that you feel would be very strong in 2026. Anything that you would like to share?
Yeah.
Saurabh?
Well, I think first of all, predictions are hard, especially
So
especially
true.
in the AI world. And in fact, I think whatever predictions I made, I wish they're all going to be wrong, because I would like to be surprised, because
Something new
in the
comes.
last few years, all the surprises have been positive.
Positive,
When
true.
it comes to AI.
Yeah.
And so, but I think what we see what big things we're going to see in 2026 is, number one, the agents are going to start to deliver real true value across a much larger set of enterprises.
Yes.
I would say that 2025 was still an year of experimentation.
Okay,
And some
nice.
successes.
Some successes.
We and us being one of the more mature tools that have delivered success, but it's going to be at a different scale next year. Second thing is, I think open source models showed a big leap this year, but they're still not dominant in terms of mature enterprise use, and that's going to change next year. We're going to see a lot more open source models being used, because remember, once you're using agents at scale, you also need to run AI in a more cost efficient manner,
Right,
and that is
right.
what you're going to get with open source.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love how you've kind of, obviously given us a prediction around 2026, but also I like what you said was even in 2025, it was the year of experimentation at many levels, and there were successes that we've seen.
Yeah.
Also with Glean, I've obviously spoke to so many customers, big names there,
Yeah.
who have kind of, also given us the use cases that they have implemented, and they've seen the real ROI on that. And these are not even practitioners, but CIOs of big companies.
Yeah.
So we'll keep the conversation going,
Yeah.
Arvind. I
Yeah.
always love chatting with you
Yeah.
and meeting the Glean team.
Yeah.
Have a fantastic AWS reInvent. I'm pretty sure 2026 will be huge,
Yeah.
and we'll stay tuned for everything that Glean does.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Looking forward to the show and meeting again.
Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining us today.
Thank you.